decides my son is going to be president. And it's not JFK. It's his other son who gets killed, I believe, in war.
Really?
Yeah. So then he goes, okay, fine. This son will be president. And he was like a bootlegger or something like that. What was he into? Like legit illegal gangster, like an actual gangster. That was the tie with the mafia, because you've heard of the Kennedy ties with the mafia.
Yeah.
Which some say is, you know, how he got murked or whatever. But then he goes, okay, JFK is going to be the president. And they, I think, fabricate a war hero story for him. But the whole thing is designed. Like, he's the great, I think it's Joseph Kennedy. He's like the great architect of this family. And this is back in the day when you could have like these legacy families. You're talking about, like, if you want to go into European history, you look at these legacy families where it happened. You look at like the Rothschild banking family, the Habsburgs. Have you heard of the Habsburgs?
I haven't heard about them.
Bro, it's like one family found a way to be king of every fucking country in Europe.
Really?
And it's like, you look at family a little differently. You hear people's last names in America, and it is what it is. But out there in Europe, they maybe have a little bit closer association to it because your last name might have meant you were the fucking prince of some shit.
Yeah.
Right? And
certain names in America, Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, there's a couple.
Yeah.
I'm saying there are different ways to have empires. It's not just I'm the fucking sultan or I'm this. Sometimes it's a financial empire. Sometimes it's a fucking drug empire.
You ever heard of the centralized bank?
Oh, now we're talking, my boy. Now we're talking.
Can you pull this up? I'll never forget this.
LBJ's car that could go in the water.
Oh, hilarious.
That's tough.
That is
Apparently he would prank people. That's a good prank video.
What, just like...
He would take everyone in the car and then accidentally turn down into a creek and then drive around the water.
There you go. I had forgotten that.
And they'd be like, we're going to sink, and then they would float. It's kind of funny. Wait, what am I looking up?
Joe Biden talks about centralized bank. So this was during like the 2020 election.
Yeah.
Like him.
Is that video?
Yeah. It's on YouTube. It's hard to find, but it was one of those presidential debates, and him and Trump were arguing, and like Trump was like talking over Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And then Joe, he got frustrated. He was like, "That's why you're gonna lose." And he was like, "Why, Joe? Why am I gonna lose?" He's like, "Cause we have the media, we have the press, we have the centralized bank." And then he said it. And like he just like put his head down, and like it was just quiet for like a solid 5 seconds, and then like the mediator, he just like changed the subject, and I was like, I've heard about it, but then like once he said something about it, I was like, damn.
Well, central banking systems, there's a lot of lore around them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lore, and if you look into that Rothschild name that I said, I mean, the conspiracies are that they are the ones who've created central banks around Europe and then in America, and
there's a fire book called The Monster of Jekyll Island.
Oh yeah, where they decide to do the centralized.
Apparently, like they kind of all like meet, like all like the big players within like American banking, all kind of meet on this one little spot and come up with the idea.
Now there might be benefits to a central bank. I don't know enough about finance.
That's how America got free. It's because they went to the central bank in order to fund their war against England.
Well, who is the central bank? Who funds the war?
That's the $1 million question.
England also has a central bank.
Ooh.
And what if they are owned by the same family?
Maybe what if? Of
That's
course
where,
they are,
and
dude.
you play
They're
both
all
sides.
And what if you play
under
both
the
sides?
BIS,
Because the
and
bank
BIS
during
is
the
owned by
war is lending an unlimited
families.
amount of
I mean,
money.
that's what
And you gotta
happened.
pay it back, so you're always gonna win.
And whose side
what
are
the
you going to
Jekyll
fund?
Island
You're going to
shit
fund that
was.
winner. So you got to make sure that the people you lend the money to win. Like that's yeah. Whatever. Now we're getting into fun.
Or you just lend it to both sides, hedge your bet, and then you always come out on top.
Yeah, no, this is the shit that really be interesting. I don't know like too much about like that stuff.
And if the banks, and if the
boy Andrew's like, I'm gonna talk about this.
And if the banks are heavily invested on one side winning a war, and the banks also allegedly control policy in America, if enough money is lent to one side, maybe those banks will leverage the politicians to make sure that America stays in that war until it's won. And now we have Ukraine.
Ooh.
Now, I don't know if that's the case, but who knows? What if JP Morgan has $1 billion or a few $1 billion or 40 billion, whatever it is in there, and it's like, yo, if they lose, I'm not getting my 40 billion back. So hey, we're gonna stay clapping them Russian cheeks until we win and I can get my 40 billion.
Oh my God, what am I doing?
I don't know.
My rope.
This is allegedly. We're just throwing things out here.
He's in his money bag.
He's in his hotep shit right now.
He's in his
I
money
am
bag.
a total hotep when it comes to central banks. When it comes to the Fed, I just go
You heard the
straight conspiracy.
Titanic one?
About
this is-
the-
This is
Wow.
fire.
Oh, conspiracies are the best.
what was it? It was the guy he owned America, and they were trying to get it from
You
him.
want it? Let's go.
And like they all pulled out last minute. but he
Last
was
minute,
he was on the
allegedly.
boat.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And then that shit sunk. I don't think that's the first time. That's the first thing I thought about with the Titan sub that went down.
Yeah, what are they
The
invested in?
first thing I thought about was the Pakistani billionaire.
He's on the board of something.
Really.
Gotta be.
I'm just like, yo, if you're coming from a place where you have these people that have unbelievable extreme wealth and there's unbelievable extreme poverty, and there are other people vying for that wealth. And I don't know if he's online for something else. And maybe somebody else was in the submarine, but I looked in the other guys and they didn't look that crazy. Like one guy sold like private jets or something like that. Another guy did something else, I forget. But I was